Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business. It's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Monday. So we're here with coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations with my good friend, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. We just want you to come on in, join the conversation. Let's talk about the things that are on your mind this morning. And this morning we're going to find out what's on Fran's mind. How you doing, Fran?
Hey, good morning, everybody watching live and on the replay. So happy to have you here. I want to talk about a universal law.
Mm-hmm.
There is a universal law. You don't have to be a person of faith, or you don't even have to understand it. But that universal law is you have what you say.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the other one is what you see is what you get.
Mm.
Because what you see in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
if you see bad and evil, you're going to get bad and evil. If you see good, or if you see whatever that focus happens to be, what you see is what you get.
You know something, Fran? I noticed that um, it's getting harder and harder to find things that have a traditional outcome of good and bad. For instance, my heroes. I like my heroes to be pure. I don't want to know the backstory of their life. We all got a backstory that's not cute. You know what I'm saying? But seems like now when they create these characters for movies or for media in general, there's always some serious flaw in the character, in the hero. I don't like that. I want the Lone Ranger to be the Lone Ranger. I just want him to be straight up. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I agree with a caveat. We all have flaws
We
that
all have flaws.
overcome.
Yes.
We've
But
overcome.
it's fiction.
Yes, but it's still based on,
Yeah.
we have all had flaws we had to overcome it. That's what gives us hope that we can be better. You
Mhm.
can be a hero. You can, even with your flaw,
You
you
can
can
still
still
do
be a
it.
hero.
I don't think we all get that. You know what I mean? But it's just like, wow.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want to know a whole lot, but
You know, just let him catch the bad guy. Let's go home. You know?
so talking about what you say,
Mm-hmm.
the universal law is you get what you say. We may not like it, may not understand it, but
Mm-hmm.
you have what you say. So you are living, look around you, look at your life, look at your office, your space, wherever you are.
Oh my
You
God.
are a product of what you have said out of your mouth, even to the point like, I'd like this carpet to be out of here and I want a different flooring. Very simple, but that's something that I said. And so now I don't have carpet, I have tile in this room. But I recognized, it was like, oh my gosh, I spoke that out.
Because now your mind is focused on your words. Your actions will follow your words.
Right.
You know, you ever wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, and say out loud, I'm going to go to the grocery store today. We're out of milk. I'm going to go get milk."
And your words, you are living the words you have spoken over the years. You are
Mm-hmm.
in it. The life you live right now, you have created with your words.
Now, here's the good news: you can speak something different.
Okay, but we need to go back one. This
It's
is
gonna
what
be
we
all
are for
over.
yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can change our words, but our words are still going to have the effect of if we don't Okay. We have what we say. If we don't like what we have to say something different. It's not that easy saying something different. If you put in, if what you see around you is not what you really, really want, because you said something, you've been listening to something or watching something and saying what you've been seeing and watching, and that is what you are having around you. What's going in your eyes, going in your ear, gets down in your heart, comes out of your mouth, and that's what you're living. And a lot of people say, well, I'm gonna put my hand over my mouth, I'm gonna watch what I say. I'm encourage you to go a step further and change what's going in your ears and what's in your eyes. Because that's the thing that you're speaking. If you're always thinking, or if we are always thinking doom and gloom, you'll get a lot of doom and gloom watching news and stuff. You keep watching that stuff, keep putting it in your ears. This person's arguing with that person, and this is happening, and da da da, all of that stuff. You keep putting that in, you keep speaking it out, you're going to live that life. Because so you cannot uneat the food. You take a bite, chew it up and swallow it. The process has to go through now. You're going to live out that process because that's what you programmed in. People who are in computer. Garbage in, garbage out. Old computer slogan. Whatever you're programming in, is what's going to come out. And what did you say about
my grandmother used to say, what goes in must come out. In other words, it's got to travel through the system.
So because of what's going in, words going, you got somebody's words going in. Do they agree with what you want for your life? So are you're sitting at the water cooler, listening in at whatever's going on over there, or you're sitting. That's why it's very, very important to protect your ears. Nobody should have your ear except for someone that you really trust, and that's going to help you grow or to help you move forward. Those are the people you give your ears to. You can't afford to be drinking out of the muddy, murky, dirty water and expect to come up clean.
There you go.
And we tend to, Terry Johnson, when she comes on, she always tells you to curate your feed. I get all that negativity on Facebook. You don't have to. You can fix your feed on Facebook for you to get positive only if that's what you want.
There you go.
You can unfollow somebody, even though they're your friends, you can unfollow them. And okay, I'm going here. Do you need to make them your friend?
Hello.
Not everybody is for you, and the conversations that people are having, there's some stuff I just don't open. Somebody will share something and I'm like, I am just not opening that, let alone I am not sharing that with somebody else. So I'm not going to I have on a clean white outfit. I am not going to bring in that mud.
Okay, there you go.
And I'm not doing it. And so some people, I have to just, okay, they're not bringing me any good. It's always something alarming. Oh my God, this is happening. I'm like, okay, I cannot. I know them from previously working with them or something, but are they really a friend?
Will they come when I call them? You know what I mean? Will they get in their car and come see about me?
But are they really friends? So I'm looking at my Facebook feed. I don't necessarily need to be friends with everybody, because the conversation they have may not be working for me. That conversation may not lead me to life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The things that they're talking about. I really don't have time to listen to things that are not going to help me grow, help me get more information, help me network better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to do that.
If it's not going to have a positive outcome,
I can't participate in that. And I had to learn that. I don't give everybody my ear. Now, even with people that I know, if they start talking crazy, I'm like, okay, either I'm going to politely call them on that, or I just won't be answering.
And we've talked about this before. You can't let everybody speak into your life. Everybody's not going to have something positive to say. So if it's not beneficial, then you need to curtail that, or you need to help them corral whatever it is,
or monitor your
feed.
Monitor your feed in life. Yes, that's good. Just monitor okay, so there's like 3,500, no, there's like 5,000 messages that are coming across our paths every day. All of them messages, 60, 70, 80% of them are not good for you. It's just stuff coming and it's not for you. So are you gonna, the barrage of stuff that's coming, you got to choose carefully what's going to go in your ears and what's going in your eyes, because that's the stuff you begin to talk about. You can pinpoint anybody in their life by just letting them talk. Well, I just don't see how I we'll never make it. I remember that cartoon. I was like, dude, you have got to get off the boat. And but they were trying to help him out. I guess it would have been not nice of them to put him off the boat, but he was so negative. We'll never make it. I was like, wow. But there's some people in your life that are like that. Do you let them talk? You don't, just because it came on television doesn't mean you have to go and look up the stats. They got stats on everybody, and the president said this, and so said that, and da 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 da. And I'm like, none of that is helping me get to my end.
Is that constructive chatter? And you know something? I think this is really a good subject, Fran, because we didn't expect this situation to last this long. And the longer it lasts, the more we begin to buy into, well, let me find out more information about this after all. Da, 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 da. And you can get sucked into a really
black hole.
Yeah, conversation that's not conducive to growth. Now, we got a comment over here from Danette.
Danette said, Pastor said yesterday, all the noise we have in our lives has to be calmed or quieted to hear God. Right. But see, here's the thing. We have control. We're the ones with the buttons and the controls. We can block some stuff. And what you say out of your mouth is everything you've been listening to. I was like, whoa. If you listen long enough, that's what you're going to repeat.
Well, that's where you get your information, right? From looking and hearing and taking in stuff from the outside and
put it in, and then you're eating it and you're putting it in, and it's got to come out.
What goes in must come out.
And so yesterday, that's what the young man said yesterday, 9:30. He said, you cannot not it once it's in there, you're gonna try and stop. Oh, I won't say that. No, but you've been programming that's coming out. And because you have what you say, what you've been programming in your mouth, it is coming out. No matter you're going to try and suppress it and try, I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm just going to say only good and positive. But you ain't been putting good and positive in. So it's coming out and you're going to keep trying to squash it down. I'm not going to say that. It will come out. You know how people say, oh, I was only joking. No, it came out because that was what was in there.
Well, the thing is that if you plant weeds in your garden, even if you're only joking, they're going to come up.
They're coming out.
They're coming up.
I was like, wait a minute. So I'm living in everything. I spoke these things that I'm having.
Oh, yeah, into existence.
I spoke it, but that's because I've been listening to the bad. If it's bad and it's not what I wanted, it's because I've been listening or tuning in to the wrong frequency or the wrong voice. And that's been getting inside of me. And no matter what I do to try and say, okay, well, we're not going to have, okay, I'm not going to say that. It's going to come out because that's what it's programmed in. If you've been feeding on fear, it'll come out of your mouth. So I have to change the channel. I got to change the radio station. I got to change the podcast. I got to redo some stuff. And I made up my mind. I can't, the news is not going to be good for me because they all have.
Everybody's got a perspective. Everybody's got an opinion. You know what I'm saying? And it's just too much.
And the news is no longer news like, okay, today the weather is this. It's everybody's opinion. I was like, I don't need your opinion.
I'm here for information.
Right. And they're not giving information on the news anymore.
Everybody's got an opinion, whether they voice it or not. You can see it in their face, their body language. So yeah, so it's just time for a change. Let's change the input.
And so where you get your information is going to be very, very crucial for you going forward. And we have something, we don't have to be on the grid. When I'm saying on the grid, we don't have to be on the hamster wheel of the news media. We don't have to be on the grid of everybody having the same conversation. Okay, case in point, yesterday I came outside and I was like, oh, I can see the sky. This is great. And then when I got inside the building, and then I was like about ready to go outside, and somebody said, oh, yes, well, it's gotten worse. Now, we just got through listening to about what we're saying. I was like, but the images around you try to tell you that it's worse or something is not whatever. I was happy in my own little blue sky world. I didn't need you to come tell me it got worse.
You see, someone will always carry bad news. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you gotta decide, am I going to receive that? I don't know how many times I've had to say to myself, I'm not receiving that. You know, every person, remember 2008? People were losing their houses and stuff was going on. I'm not receiving that. I'm not living in a recession. I'm not a part of that. I told myself I'm not participating in that.
And you didn't.
And I'm not participating in conversations about that because that's not where I live.
Okay, because in Psalm 1:1 in the Bible, it talks about you being very careful with who you hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you hanging around the water cooler with? What are they talking about? And why are you hanging with them? To feel, why do we hang with anybody? To feel
apart?
Included? Yes. Or if I hang out with them, I'll be cool too. No, you may not. That may not work.
You see, because you can decide to be like a tree planted by the rivers of waters. So there can be drought all around you.
But not near me.
And then I heard someone say, at the scent of water, it will bloom.
But
And so
not
I
if
don't
you
have to
say,
see
"Oh, this
water.
ain't gonna work." But see, that doesn't work if you heard that there's drought and this is the worst time in blah 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 blah, and in the 50-year history, this is the worst time we have ever had, and blah. If you sit up there and keep listening to that, you're gonna find a way to sabotage your stuff.
Hmm. So let's see what else. We got some comments going on over here.
Yeah. So
Jeanette says, true, so true. And Jerry says, yes, I saw the blue sky. It was awesome.
like, see, not everybody saw the blue sky. I saw the blue sky. Me and Jerry saw the blue sky. And some people was like, oh, it's getting worse. No, will you please be quiet? Because see, here's the thing. If all of us on the planet are saying the same thing, that it's getting worse, and
Oh,
then stop talking. Let's not contribute to more of it getting worse.
you see,
I'm not doing that. I'm not joining that party. I can't do it.
there you go. And you have the right to attend or not attend. And you also have the right to, if it's your party, you got the right to have a bouncer at the door.
I think we should have bouncers at the door, and the bouncers, you close your eyes,
So,
change the channel,
I'm not receiving that. Nope, you can't come in.
and people are going to say you're in denial. Yes, that's
Whatever.
okay.
No,
I am denying that right.
you're denied entrance.
Nope, your entrance denied. Sorry,
You're barred.
you're not on the list. You can't come in. And that's what we're
Exactly.
going to have to do. We're going to have to look at everything that comes across. We're going to be inspectors. You can't just let people just, well, they say it's going to be blah, 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 blah. Ooh.
So now you're in agreement.
Disciple one says, my bouncer is the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Just
like, and now you got to listen to him when he's trying to tell you don't let them people in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You can't go to the bouncer and then tell him, oh, that's okay, let him come on in. He trying to help.
You need a password. That is the wrong password.
You don't get to get in. So we're going to need to do some things differently. It's September. I was reading an email today. They said September is the new January. What are you doing right now?
Say what? I love it.
Yes, because this is like when everything starts anew. People are going back to school. They're getting into another groove. I remember in September, you're getting your pencils and getting everything together, ready to go back to school. And okay, you might be sitting at home. Thank you so much. What is your name, Disciple One?
How you doing? She's over on Periscope. Let's see. Oh, thank you so much for sharing.
So what are you doing for the new year, which is literally starting next week? September is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So there are classes coming up. People are going back to school, or are we still sitting? Because still sitting where we were sitting when this whole pandemic hit.
In March. We're still in March. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Tawana. So some people haven't moved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. They were okay. It hit in February. They thought it was going to be March. So a lot of people was like, "Oh, it's going to be over with," and they were like, "Okay, we're just going to wait." It's September.
I knew this wasn't going to be a.
So, but even regardless of what we knew it was or doesn't, it just meant that we still needed to move forward. Like, okay, I'm acting like this is not an issue, because for some of us, this is not an issue. I need to keep moving. Okay, here's what is the suggested thing that we're supposed to do. Great. So we're doing the suggested things, putting on your face covering, making sure you wash your hands.
We're using common sense.
Anyway, we're doing what we're supposed to do, but we're not in fear. We're not like, okay, I have more business now than I had last year.
See.
And I was like, okay. And it's a little bit more work involved because of the protocols that are in place. You got to make sure your clients are safe, and when you go into a different home, blah, blah. So you still got to do all of that. But work hasn't halted.
The world has not stopped spinning, people. And people have not stopped spending. Oh my gosh. I've seen more. When I go on my walk, I see more packages on doorsteps.
Right. Danette said, you know, some physical activity is very helpful to your mental well-being as well. Absolutely. Yes, it is. You have got, I got a bike. Now I know Danette rides bikes, but outdoor, I got an indoor bike.
Well, you know what? I know this is going to sound funny. I'm actually reconfiguring my living room into a gym. You know, I have a dining room area, and so I'm going to just put my furniture there and move my furniture back, and actually so that I can make sure that I deliberately exercise when it's on my mind. You know, it's not a matter of inconvenience. It's in my face. Yeah, because it does help to change your mental state, to be physically fit.
Right. And this is what we're talking about, because a lot of people are thinking different thoughts about things because of what they're listening to. You don't just come up with the idea of, well, I'm just going to sit here. Depending on who you're listening to, I'm just going to sit here and it's going to be okay. Yes, it is going to be okay. But what are you doing next?
Yeah. And it's not just this time. What you have to remember is there's going to be another year. What are you going to be doing in 2023? You know, this is a lot. This is a chance to change your lifestyle.
Look, it's time you get to reinvent, decide who you're going to be, decide what it is that you want to do. You got a lot more time. There are many jobs where they're going to permanently put work from home in place. So, okay, so now you can rearrange your business around that. You can eat healthier. You can do some things to make your life the way you want it to be.
There you go. You can do the research to find out how much more of your home can you write off now. You know what I mean? Find out what the tax laws are, because you spent a whole 9 months working from home. There's a lot of benefits to that.
Tawana said you can start your own business.
Exactly. And that's what we're about. We want you to run a profitable business that's fun to run, and we're here to help you take the hassle out of your hustle.
There's so many things that we could be doing, and these are things that we have talked about before. Dividing up your time blocking, and it is now time. It's September. Let's get your time block together for your education. If you've got little ones at home, and you got to figure that situation out. There's a video. If you do a lot of Zoom thing, there's a video on the 10 worst Zoom habits. And it's funny. We will post that over on the BizChick site, on our page over there on our Facebook in the group, because everybody's on Zoom right now. Everybody's meeting on Zoom. I do my first time with clients on Zoom or on some type of online. It could be Zoom. It could be free conference call. And if you didn't know, free conference call does video calls as well. not just phone calls. And it's easy for your people to get in there.
There you go.
And Brenna says, but when you think you might sell your home, you want to take no business deductions 1 to 2 years prior. Ah, she's giving you all a tip.
Okay.
Okay, Brenna, thank you. So all of this is saying, be very mindful of what you're listening to. Be mindful of what you are watching and allowing to get into your heart. Because whatever comes into your heart is going to start coming out of your mouth, and then you're going to be living it. It's a universal law that we cannot get around, even though we don't, well, that doesn't matter. I'm just joking. No, it's not just a joke. You have what you say. Any final commentary? Because I think this was a good conversation. At least I learned something yesterday.
Pryor said, think about what you're thinking about, because what you think about, you bring about. So.
And that bringing about comes through your mouth. It comes because you're thinking about it, and it's like, I think I'll cut the grass today. You thought that. You said it.
You verbalized it.
I think I'll do this. I think I'll do that. You're programmed, and you're doing it.
Mm-hmm. So think good thoughts, allow good thoughts in, and good thoughts will come out, because your words are seeds, and you want to plant good seeds, not weeds.
And again, yep. Danette said, I'm blessed. And the Bible says there's power in the tongue. That's right, Tawana. There is power in the tongue.
Choose life.
But you got to put life in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If you don't, you got to watch what you're watching and what you're listening to. Be very, very mindful who gets your attention. Are they getting you to the place that you want to be? Terry calls it the happiest. Are they getting you to your happy place? You got to watch what you're putting in. You can't speak life if you're not watching life and listening to life.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If you're programmed and focused on death and lack, and it's not going to work. If we are programmed on that, and if that's what we're seeing, okay, so what did we say at the top of the hour, at the top of the beginning of this? What you see is what you get,
mm-hmm.
and what you say is what you'll have. So if you only see, what did they say? That I see the glass half empty or half full. You see it, whatever you see, that's what you're going to get. We didn't make up the rule. It is a principle. This is one of them universal laws. Whatever you see, you're going to get, because that's what you're going to say.
So and what you want.
You better start seeing what you want, and you better start programming in what you want, not what you don't want. I think that's it, pretty much.
I think we're good.
We can go into it. We can go into it in more detail, but it's like, watch what you're watching, watch what you're listening to.
Oh, watch what you're watching, and watch what you're talking.
Well, they see, and if I can say this, you're going to talk what you've been watching. It doesn't matter. It's coming out of your mouth. What you've been listening to, what you've been watching, it will come out. You're going to try and watch. I'm going to watch my words. I'm almost say, forget watching your words. Watch what you're putting in, because it's what your words are going to come out of your mouth. They're coming out. Whatever words you put in there, they are coming out. And
wow, we got comments coming in here.
I want them.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so you want to show the comments before we go? Real quick.
Yes. Karen says, every thought that you bring about will come to pass. Thank you, Karen. And she says, so you must speak life. Yes, you must make a lifestyle to protect your spirit. You can't allow any thing in. Karen said, God never gave us a thought that we can't bring about. And
I
there's
like
a
that.
lot of amens. Yes, it will. What's in you will come out. And Jerry said it's very true.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out, people. And I know we want to like, yes, I'm not going to say that anymore. It's coming out of your mouth because you put it in there.
What goes in
Comes out.
must come
All
out.
I'm saying is watch what's going in, because, and you know, you just gonna have to go through the process of what came out.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that weed to come up, but that weed got planted. And
We
you
all
don't
want
know.
grass-fed beef.
You got to pull the weed up.
Mm-hmm.
Pull the weed up. Okay, now don't plant any more weeds. You
There you
pull
go.
that one up, but don't plant anymore. How do you plant? You plant by listening, not by saying. You plant
Mhm.
by hearing and watching. That's how you're planting the seed. Does that make sense?
Yes,
How did
absolutely.
we learn some things at home? We watched our parents.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We the seeds are planted while you're watching, not
Yes.
by your saying. The seed was planted by your hearing and your watching. That's how the seeds are planted. Now, uh, causing them to grow is speaking them out your mouth, but them seeds went in here. People are planting seeds all around you. You better
That's true. That's true. Yes.
like,
You better start weeding that garden. If you allowed some stuff to get into your garden, and sometimes, friends, you know how in California we try to do organic and people are concerned because the people next door are not organic and it's just blowing over into their fields
and they're like, no. And it's true, because
and that's what happened with your blue sky. Someone came and tried to blow.
like, I'm enjoying my blue sky. Don't be coming over here trying to mess it up.
Okay. Yes.
Karen said, oh, I'm gonna go back. Hold on, Karen. Tawana says soul ties X, that's people that have a soul tie to cursing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Karen said also, when people talk to you about unpleasant things, spend your time quietly, say the opposite while they are talking. Yes.
Exactly. I don't receive that. I'm
They're
not.
trying to do a drop. They're trying to drop a what is it? A package off. Oh no, that ain't not my package. They're trying to come by and
Wrong address. Wrong address.
I'm gonna drop the package.
Return to sender.
And that is what we're saying. People coming by and just saying little stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or you watching little stuff. Some stuff you can't watch on TV. There was this program called, there was a movie called Sleeping with the Enemy. I refused to watch it. Somebody said, oh, that's a great movie. I was like, nope, because I don't want to get in my mind that seed dropped in my mind that the person that's sleeping next to me is now my enemy.
Wow.
Do you understand? And that was just, and I remember I was adamant about not watching
the insinuation. Yeah. And
I'm not even allowing.
Yeah.
I'm not even allowing that thought to even drop near me. I'm not doing it.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So it is very, and I'm telling you, and I'm sure that it was some movie they just thought it was. I'm like, nope. You do realize that television is trying to get you to accept a vision about your life in some way, right? That's what television does. Talking about, and then we're going to get off of here pretty soon.
Because we're going on.
The pharmaceutical companies are programming you.
Hey,
Keisha says, whatever we focus on will get bigger. So the pharmaceutical companies are programming. When they are trying to tell you that you need to be on some type of a pill when you get a certain age, and now the age limit has gone down for the kids. Now they want you to put your kids on some stuff. Give this to your kids. They'll thank you for it when you're older. No.
And so what happens? We find out 20 years later that it didn't work or whatever.
Or there was a problem with it.
People, come on.
So what I'm telling you is, you know that being healthy requires your input. So be healthy. If you need to go to the doctor for whatever you need to, then you go for that. But you got to watch what you're being programmed for. Yeah, and yeah, Karen says she's with me. I'm not watching it. I'm not either. And then it even does more damage if Tawana is talking about what we're talking about.
The pharmaceuticals, yeah.
The pharmaceuticals. I'm like,
You know, because half the page looks like this, a fine print. Come on now. Maybe I just need to drink some water. Okay.
A lot of stuff can be alleviated by drinking some water.
I'm just saying.
And taking a walk.
Yeah.
Well, come on. Not taking the pill. And then Brenda says, still haven't seen that. But see, no reality show, no soap operas, drama, and ignorant sitcom shows. Thank you, Brenda. Because it all programs you. Seriously, I was like, okay, I cannot watch some stuff. Is just mindless. I'm like, I can't do it. Not if I want to be productive.
Yes.
I can't do it.
There you go.
Wait a minute. Tawana said, drink water, get off the couch, and out of the bed. Thank you. And then Brenda said, water is life. Yes, it is. And then how much of it are we drinking? Because this is a whole nother, the Thursday. See, our Thursday program is all about happy, healthy habits. And habit number 1 is hydrate. Water. I will have a cup of herb tea every now and again, or maybe 1 decaf coffee. Lately, I haven't drank any coffee in the last couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks. But I'm because I'm on purpose increasing my water. Just give me some water with lemon, water. I just need water, not water with sugar.
Yeah, I had to really watch. I had to eliminate tea because I loved putting honey in my tea. It wasn't the tea, it was the tea and the honey. And it began to set up different things in my body. I was like, wait a minute. The only way I can get rid of the tea is to just stop the tea because I like the honey in the tea. So, you know, he'll tell you what to do, people.
Yes. And so Tawana said, when we feel tired or sick, it's our body crying for water.
This is good to know.
Just before you do anything else, just pick up some water.
Okay.
Water. So watch what's going in your ears. Don't let them people program you.
Well, really, we're programming ourselves because we're choosing what we let come in.
Right. That we're the gatekeepers. We don't have to, so like Brenda said, we don't have to sit in front of the TV with the soap operas. And because most of the stuff that we have right now are here.
There's so many more choices.
You can go pick up a podcast that's going to push play on something that's going to cause you to grow. I pushed play on John Acuff. He was funny, but he was talking about how to finish your goals. How to finish your goals. Remember the 101 things that you wanted to accomplish in your life? How long ago was that conversation?
Oh my God.
101 things and people, I don't know, I can't find 101. Okay, what are your top 10 for the year? Are you going to finish something on that top 10 list?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we had a major distraction in the pandemic, but you still had your top 10 list,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes, and it's over here on the wall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine is on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm working on at least one thing on that top 10 right now. Okay, let me pick something on this top 10, and then I will put the link to um, Finish. The book is called Finish. There is a video he did on it with 6 sections on it. I was like, this is good. Finish.
Mm-hmm.
How, because people talk about how to, I should play it on here, huh?
All I know is if you took those top 10 and dedicated 36 days to each one, you'd have it done by the end of the year. If you took one thing and dedicated 36 days to it, you probably could get a lot of that stuff done.
Brenna said no soda, occasional organic and or organic one or juice. Yes, like the Hanson's, because juice. There's the tea that's naturally sweetened, stevia or herbs. Yeah, see, I have I sweeten with monk fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I have a monk fruit sweetener, and it is really, really good. It tastes like it stevia. God bless them. Woo!
I just
was like, okay.
I will get back to it when I got my mind set on all things in moderation. But right now it's water for me. Water and orange juice. I found that orange juice does eliminate some things for me. So not a lot of orange juice, but some, and water is what I'm on right now, guys. What is Karen saying over here?
Karen said, yep, I had a cold and all I do is pray on myself, rest, drink liquids, watch comedies, and then get to work on what I say I will do. Good job, Karen. And Keisha, what was that again? Are we talking about John Acuff in the book Finish? Was that what you were referring to? I think I'd like to show that video.
Okay. So
it's Monday.
Are we going to show it now?
Okay. If y'all want to see it, you all need to put one in the chat
if you want to see it.
Right.
We'll know whether or not to play. How long is it?
Depends. If you want to see it, put a 1 in the chat. Seriously, it is really good information, but you have to want it. We can't want it for you.
Okay. Tawana, yes.
You'll be glad you stuck around. How many ones we got, Terry?
We got Lakeisha. We got 2 so far.
And if you want to stick around,
okay. Claudia, I know you were in the house. How you doing, pretty? Claudia's in here.
Okay, let's see.
So we have 3 people that want to see it.
That's all right.
33% right there.
33% works for me. What about you, Terry?
Works for me too.
Okay, so we're stand by. I'm going to share my screen
and run the video shortly, guys. Meanwhile, if you have to go, we just want to thank you for tuning in, and for those of you watching on the replay, we just say, hey, here we go.
Yeah, I gotta log in because they don't.
She's in between distance learning. Okay.
Okay, this is and these are short. Just we got like 11 minutes or whatever, and if y'all tell me, and then we'll check in after each one if we want to keep going. How about that?
That sounds like a plan.
Okay, so let me get back to StreamYard, and let me share my screen. Chrome tab, going here. I need to share my audio. See, they do put the little thing down there.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I see we got 3 shares over here already. That is so kind. And for those of you who haven't followed us on YouTube, we would really appreciate it if you would follow our channel over there, the Biz Chicks channel.
Yep. Everybody ready?
Yep, we're ready.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
92% of all New Year's resolutions fail. 92%. Why do so many people fail at their New Year's resolutions? Why do so many companies have a hard time finishing their goals? Why do so many teams fail their goals? And I think part of the reason is we celebrate the wrong part of a goal. We say things like, well begun is half done. The hardest part of any journey is the first step. And that feels so good on a coffee cup or maybe a photo, a unicorn with a swirly font. That's not even a little true. The middle is the hardest part. We have launch parties. We have kickoff parties. I've never been to a middle party. Where do people cheer at marathons? At the beginning and at the finish line. The middle is hard and lonely. And so we start all these projects and then we stop them. And it has a cost. You remember incomplete goals more than you remember completed ones. The goals you don't finish don't disappear. They become these ghosts that haunt you. And see, here's the problem. A goal isn't just a goal. A goal is a promise. It's a promise you make to your team. It's a promise you make to your coworkers. It's a promise you make to your family. And ultimately, it's a promise you make to yourself. And every time you break one, it becomes harder to keep the next one. So I wanted to answer a question. Can you go from being a chronic starter to a consistent finisher? Are there steps? Are there principles? Are there things you and I can do to make sure we actually finish the things that matter in our lives? But I wanted to make sure that I had real research behind the answer. So I went to the University of Memphis and I commissioned a research study with a PhD there named Mike Peasley so that we could answer that question. What does it really take to become a finisher? Can somebody who's really good at starting but not good at finishing actually learn? And that's what we're going to talk about in this 6-part series. We're going to walk through step by step what it takes for you and your team to get across that finish line.
Shall we continue? I need to put a 1 in it or a 2 in the chat if you think you want me to continue to the next one. Terry, you need to tell me because I'm looking at something else. Terry.
We got a 2 here from Tawana.
Okay.
Wants to see the next one. And we got 9 people still in here, so.
I guess we're going to keep moving.
Okay.
All right, so let me go.
Jerry says 2. Claudia says 1. So Claudia says she got to go, I guess.
Okay, let me pull up. I need to go to the next one. Number.
Lakeisha says 2. Oh, Claudia says 2.
Okay, here we go.
So they want more. Brenda says 2.
This is the second.
When I was in college, I decided to try out for the football team. Now I know watching this video today, you're probably thinking, well, duh. When you've got a frame like this, when you've been gifted this body, to not play football is to deny the world your gift. You can't keep a tiger out of the jungle. But I went to a D1 school. I went to Samford University in Birmingham, Alabama, and we played schools like Auburn and Georgia. So I knew I needed to find a position that wouldn't liquefy every bone in my body every single play. So I decided to be a kicker, but not just any kicker, because sometimes the guy who kicks off, the guy who punts, has to pretend almost tackle. If the receiver makes it back through everybody, the kicker has to do that kicker dive and lightly graze his ankles when he runs by. They don't even give kickers real pads. Have you ever seen the pads kickers wear? They have to make them themselves at home. They crochet them. So I decided my safest bet was to kick field goals. So I bought a ball. I bought a field goal stand, and late at night, I would sneak into the stadium and practice my field goals. And during my extensive field goal practice, I was able to correctly hit approximately, carry the one, 0 field goals. I never hit a single field goal. And at first I thought, well, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the worst at picking goals. Maybe I'm the worst at finishing. But then you start to look at what the research says. Things like this, 92% of all New Year's resolutions fail. 92%. If you have a greater shot at getting into Juilliard in New York City to be a professional ballerina, which is an 8.6% chance, Tiny Dancer, than you do at figuring out how to finish a goal. And maybe you've been there before. We've all had big fitness goals we are going to do. Maybe right now you have a Peloton in your garage that's now just a really expensive place to hang laundry. Maybe for you it was CrossFit. A lot of my friends love CrossFit. And it seems like the hardest part of CrossFit is all the Instagramming you have to do to let me know you do CrossFit. Finding the right filter for a kettlebell is exhausting. Maybe you have friends that flip tires as a form of exercise. I don't know if you've ever seen that online. Every time I do, I think that is the least efficient way to transport a tire. They're actually designed to be very easy to get from one side of a space to the other. For me, it was P90X, the DVD program. It's taken me 3 years to do 6 days of P90X. And maybe you're like me, you got excited, you saw the commercial, you're like, I'm going to get so jacked in my kitchen, I'm going to be doing burpees in my living room. And then the first 5 days are really challenging, but then you see yoga on the schedule and you think, I can do yoga. Yoga's like 50% candles, but then even the yoga day is hard and you end up quitting. And I wanted to figure that out. Why do so many people fail at their New Year's resolutions? Why do so many companies have a hard time finishing their goals? Why do so many teams fail their goals? And I think part of the reason is we celebrate the wrong part of a goal. We say things like, well begun is half done. The hardest part of any journey is the first step. And that feels so good on a coffee cup or maybe a photo of a unicorn with a swirly font. Well, what does that really mean? Well begun is half done. If a surgeon told you, once I've made the first incision, I'm like halfway done with your surgery, you would say, hey, where did you go to school? Where did you get your education? The hardest part of any journey is the first step. That's not even a little true. The middle is the hardest part. We have launch parties. We have kickoff parties. I've never been to a middle party. I've never had a manager say, hey, we're at the worst part of the project. Time for middle cake. Where do people cheer at marathons? At the beginning and at the finish line. The middle is hard and lonely. And so we start all these projects and then we stop them. And it has a cost. Scientists call it the Z effect. You remember incomplete goals more than you remember completed ones. You've had that experience, right? You ever go to bed at night and you go, okay, brain, time to go to sleep. And your brain goes, what if instead we thought about something we failed at 3 years ago? Bing! And you wake right up. If you don't want to sleep tonight, take out your phone and scroll through your email. Look at all the stuff I didn't do today. Look at all the stuff I didn't get to. This is like digital melatonin. Peaceful. Another way to think about it is the goals you don't finish don't disappear. They become these ghosts that haunt you. And see, here's the problem. A goal isn't just a goal. A goal is a promise. It's a promise you make to your team. It's a promise you make to your coworkers. It's a promise you make to your family. And ultimately, it's a promise you make to yourself. And every time you break one, it becomes harder to keep the next one. So I wanted to answer a question. Can you go from being a chronic starter to a consistent finisher? Are there steps? Are there principles? Are there things you and I can do to make sure we actually finish the things that matter in our lives? But I wanted to make sure that I had real research behind the answer. So I went to the University of Memphis and I commissioned a research study with a PhD there named Mike Peasley. And he and I looked at nearly 900 people for 6 months as they worked on their goals. Goals of all types and sizes, personal goals, fitness goals, financial goals, corporate goals, sales goals, so that we could answer that question. What does it really take to become a finisher? Can somebody who's really good at starting but not good at finishing actually learn? And that's what we're going to talk about in this 6-part series. We're going to walk through step by step what it takes for you and your team to get across that finish line. Now, the good news, because let's always start with good news, is that goals aren't that complicated. They're really not. In fact, there's only 4 components, 4 things you need to think about. The first is the results. What are the results you're trying to achieve? When you think about the goal, what is the finish line? The second thing is the timeline. How long are you actually going to work on it? What's the schedule? What's the deadline? The third thing are the actions. What are the steps you're going to take? What are the physical things you're going to do? And number 4, what's your motivation? You might say your passion, your fuel, your fire. Those are the 4 parts. So let's break each one of those down a little bit and have some specific things we can do around them. Number 1, the results. You need hyper clarity on the results. You need to know exactly what you're trying to achieve, because it's really hard to achieve a goal if you don't know what it is. So I want to give you 3 simple ways to think about your goal. I like to start with a lot of words and then work down to the smallest amount. Sometimes I think it's overwhelming when we say, give me your elevator pitch. Give me your goal in 3 words. That's hard to figure out right away. Let's start wide and then get really narrow. So the first way is think about a dinner party. If you and I sat next to each other at a dinner party and I said, what are you working on? What's your goal this quarter? What's your goal this year? Talk to me the way you talk to me at a dinner party. You wouldn't use corporate speak. You wouldn't use fancy words. You wouldn't use jargon that you'd find on a corporate website. You'd tell me real words, and you'd probably tell me 100 words, 200 words, maybe even 300 words as you describe the goal. So the first question is, if we were sitting next to each other at a dinner party, how would you describe the results? Now let's narrow it a little bit. If you only had a postcard, if you only had a paragraph, if you only had 8 sentences, what would that be? How would you describe the results then? And then let's get a little smaller, narrow it even more. If you had the side of the truck for your company, that as it left your property, had your goal on the side, the results you were going for that year, what would it say? If you only had a sentence, if you only had a handful of words. I love when people can simplify. One of my favorite examples of this was from a trucking company. On the side of their truck, they had a really simple message that spelled out the results they were aiming for. It didn't say, we do cross-country synergistic logistics. It didn't have 100 words. All it said is, we help people keep promises. That's the results. We help people keep promises. When somebody orders something from across the country, we keep the promise with that person. So take your goal, take the results, and shrink it down. The second thing is the timeline. How do you deal with the timeline? Here's one really easy way. Shrink the year. A lot of people have big, massive corporate goals, and that's awesome. Or they have big, massive personal goals, and that's awesome. But those can be overwhelming. So shrink the year a little bit and figure out, what does it look like for me to do this in a day or a month or a week? Here's an example. I ran 1,000 miles one year. And if I ran 5 miles on a Monday, that was kind of discouraging because 5 out of 1,000 doesn't feel like a lot. It feels like a drop in the bucket. So what I learned to do is to say, okay, I'm not trying to run 1,000 miles this year. I'm trying to run 85 miles this month. But that was still kind of big. So I said, I'm trying to run 21 miles this week. So then when I ran 5 miles, 5 out of 21 felt encouraging. So look at your timeline. Make sure that you don't just have one big finish line. You have to have small finish lines along the way to shrink the year. The third thing, the actions. What are the actions you're actually going to take to make sure you get those results and you hit that timeline? If I sat down with you for a coffee and I said, hey, tell me about your actions, and all you said was, we're going to hustle. We're going to hustle. We have so much passion. We're going to hustle. Those are great words, but they're just words. When I say actions, you know what I want to hear? I want to hear, we're going to make 10 sales calls. We're going to file the LLC paperwork. We're going to submit the budget. I need real, tangible things. The more you can put some real, tangible actions together, the more likely you are to actually finish the goal. And the last one, the motivation, it's the same thing. Make sure you get specific. If I sat down and said, what's going to lift you up when the project gets tough? What's going to keep you going? If your answer was, I've got the eye of the tiger. I believe in myself. I'm like Katy Perry. I'm a firework, and I think that's going to do it. That's not going to do it. It's going to get difficult. It's going to get challenging. And I can't wait to tell you more specific ways to raise your actions, raise your motivation as we go through this series. So get ready. But today, answer those 4 questions. What are the results? What's my timeline? What are my actions? What's my motivation? That's where we're going to start if we want to finish.
Okay.
Okay, we've got 8 people in the house. Guys, we are going to
I want to
revisit
ask questions. Okay, so what were the 4 things that we're supposed to do? What's the 4 things? People in the chat? What was number 1? What are the results? Because I know there's a bit of a delay. So tell me about your results.
There is a delay.
What's the first thing? That was only 11 minutes. That wasn't bad. Okay. I don't think it's on YouTube, Lakeisha. This is thank you. Results, timeline, actions, motivation. Thank you, Tawana. Okay, so everybody work on this week. We can listen to, if you want to, next week, we can listen, next Monday, we can listen to part 2.
A little more. And we can start earlier.
Right. So if you want to do that, put an A in the chat. If you want us to play the next sequence, or we want to do this, because September is the new January. Just saying. So if you
reset.
Huh?
We're resetting.
Yep, we're doing a reset. So results, timeline, actions, and motivation. Yeah, so I picked out one of my top 10, and I did all 4 of those for my top 10. For one of my top 10, what's the result that I want to see? What actions, or what's the timeline? Shrink the year. I love that. Instead of trying to chunk the whole thing off, I was like, oh, okay. Because it makes your mind calm down. Okay, Keisha wants to see this again. Thank you, Brenna. And we'll do this again next Monday. We'll just pick this topic and just learn. We'll push play.
Exactly.
This is what you do. You push play on something else. This was a whole lot better than whatever's on the news right now.
I feel better.
I do too. I feel encouraged. So I'm working on my goals. I got my timeline, actions I'm going to take, and then what's my motivation for doing this. Very good. All right, we'll see everybody next week for Coffee, Tea, Thoughts, and Conversations. Tomorrow is social media and digital marketing with TJ and Terry. And Wednesday, we will be with Coach Karen. She'll be talking all about your finances and how to get your money straight. And then Thursday, Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. Friday, we're talking tech. And then Monday, we'll be back here for the next session of Finish. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. And we'll talk to you next week.
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. But next week to finish. Okay,
guys. And we want to remind you, don't forget to go to the front of your own line. Have a great day. Drink that water and keep walking. Bye-bye.